Hello and welcome back, everybody. Today, well, I managed to find myself a scenario. Sorry. I found myself a scenario that should be pretty interesting, just because it's really old and I don't know how much credit I want to give to it, or how much time I want to devote to it with another human being. So it kind of feels perfect for a solo night. It's Monday, so traditionally it is the solo night. Although, to be fair as well, at some point I will most likely be hearing back from Greg. So hopefully, maybe in the new year. If not before then, we'll be back to some regularly scheduled human versus human interaction on these dates. Now, getting to this scenario, there's a few things that I need to get to. First off, changing the date and the title here. So this scenario, as I said, comes from a very old publication. It's a very old scenario, so it doesn't necessarily have all of the incremental errata or changes that have made its way into the game circa 2024. This scenario, I believe, if the bottom page of this magazine is correct, is from October 1988. So a long time ago. And because it was a long time ago, uh, like I said, it doesn't have the same sort of design ethos that you would see in other scenarios, or in more modern scenarios, I should say. One of the ways that this manifests itself immediately is the fact that it is a 8.5 turn scenario. It is very rare to see a scenario that length, because you don't need. One of the biggest things is you want to pressure the attacking player, and in order to do that, well, you don't necessarily give them all the time in the world. Now, there may be an extra reason as for why that's the case, and we'll delve into that as we progress. Um, Oops, there we go. So yeah, essentially, it's a very old scenario. There's a lot of turns that are available for this one. Um, and it should be also stated that this is these scenarios that you usually find on all fronts magazines are design contests. So they, in essence, are not necessarily finalized. They were looking for feedback in some of these. I'm not sure if they ever came out with a finalized version or if that just made its way into reprints into other companies, should they have ever picked them up. But for the moment, in the here and now, we're not going to worry too much about it. Yeah. So, with that said, there's quite a few things to go over with regards to the scenario. There's a very interesting way to look at the victory points, and we'll get to those in a little bit. First and foremost, it is December, which means you can expect some snow on the ground. In this case, there's deep snow, so there's the added movement difficulties. That's probably why there's so much time afforded to this scenario. But like I said, it really should not include that, I don't believe that it should include that, because you can kind of get an idea as to how much space there is involved in all this. Um, Now, the information also comes from scenario cards that are rather old, and because the scenario cards are rather old, you can kind of expect that information is going to be a little bit haphazard here. So, for example, they show board 32 as having north pointing to the right, but it's a vertical imaged board. Usually, they don't show it that way. They'll have some better spacing and all that. But magazine typefaces and all that back in 1988 wasn't necessarily available. We don't have the fancy design tools that we do these days. So there's also two different overlays, and then they aren't exactly placed on the board like you'd see in modern scenario cards, etc. I used the reference that is available on the ASL archive. Someone had already built this map, or what the map should look like for this scenario, and I'm just going to take that as gospel for what it should be. It makes sense for what it covers. Essentially, the water covers a couple buildings, and these two orchards also cover a multi-hex building. So nothing crazy, and it conforms to the same hexes that they asked to block out. So should be fine. Now, the Finns get to set up. They have some hip stuff and what you would normally expect. My units that I've hipped are hipped, and you can just kind of imagine how I've had prior discussions about hip units and concealed units when it comes to ASL playing solo. It's very hard to have that make it make sense, but we'll do our best here. I kind of expect to have like a very explosive action in this scenario, and then we'll go from there essentially. So the Finns, like I said, they set up west of Hex Row P. So because north is pointing down, west is to the right. So anything right of Hex Row P. I guess technically you can set up on Hex Row P, but whatever. The Russians, on the other hand, have to set up in a convoy. It's mandatory convoy, so they have to follow the convoy rules, which is essentially going to be that they drive slower, and they can't dismount or do anything until they come into combat with anybody. They have to see an opponent, an enemy unit. So as long as the Finns remain concealed, they can't do anything, essentially. Special rules in this scenario. I already mentioned deep snow. There's extreme winter, which I should put down a counter for, which is also going to be problematic, more so for the Russians, but still. Heavy winds are in play, and the wind is blowing in from the southeast, I believe. So, again, east is to the left, south is to the top. So it's coming from the top left, which means it's blowing to the bottom right. Hopefully that makes sense for everybody. Snow drifts also occur as per Rule E 3.75. We've been there before, but just as a refresher, essentially there should be a roll that we have to do or have to abide by, and then that will determine the creation of snowdrifts, and then snowdrifts will occur randomly on the map, and they block a hex side. So if I just double check here, E375 should be that. Yeah, so we don't start with any drifts in play, or at least I didn't read that anywhere on there. So it's really just a drift is also created in one hex of each map board at the start of any rally phase in which, prior to wind change, die roll, heavy winds, gusts were in force in combination with ground or deep snow. So no matter what, there will be drifts. So every rally phase, and it's prior to. So as long as I'm not changing wind, if I don't roll a 2 essentially, and change it from heavy winds to a breeze, there should always be drift being created, which is not quite sure why that's in effect, because I believe that creates, it does a lot for bog check, which is just going to be very problematic for convoy rules, but hey, whatever. This is 1988 action that we're looking at here, so expect there to be a few, I don't want to say problems, because it's kind of pretty negative outlook on that. But there are things that we will need to consider at the end of the day. All right. So that is the heavy winds and drift portion of it. All Finnish infantry are equipped with winter camouflage. Again, it's not going to really matter in this. I don't believe so. The Finns can set up one MMC in any sport weapon and single man counter with it as hip. In addition, all Finnish fortifications may set up hip as per A12.33. This is usually the case if fortifications are not in view, they should set up hip. Although I think that's more. Sorry, I believe that's more if you start off board. They set up hip, and it makes sense that you would want to give the Finns a little bit of a benefit here. Additionally, all Finnish infantry are armed with Klori Hartsi pipe grenades, which are used exactly like anti-tank magnetic mines. C13.7. The Sissy ski troops are armed with Molotov cocktails as well as the pipe grenades. So basically, there's some reinforcements that will come in for the Finns later on turn 5, which is kind of wild that it's that far into it, but whatever. So reinforcements come in, and yeah. Anyways, there's some special occurrences there. A few things to look at for victory conditions. So the Russians are awarded victory points for either exiting units off the west edge. Again, this is to the right. Off of board the hexes A4, A5, A6, and A7. So essentially, this would hex to this would hex, or the one road and the hexes to their extremities. There are victory levels. This is very rare to see. Normally you see victory levels as a Australian why am I forgetting? It's not balance. There's a way to sort of bet or wager a wager system on who should get which side, and then which balances according to that. So if the Russians get essentially less than 15 CVP, it should be considered a Finnish victory, and if they get above 14, they will have a victory. So best way to look at that, unless you really want to look at decisive victories or whatever, which I don't think is very useful. All right. So thing to point out as well, the Russians are said to set up in convoy on road U5 to W5 to Y10. Now, technically, you could set up at the back of Y10 and work your way forward. I did it this way to just have less awkward movement, and I realized at the end of it I'm going to have some awkward movement anyways, because I am one unit too many, and also this intersection is going to mess with things. So, with all that said and done, we can go to our convoy rules. Just some minor refresh here. So movement in a convoy pays 1 extra as if you were towing per hex entered, or hex side if you're using vehicle bypass movement. Minimum road rate is 1. So essentially any vehicle trying to move along a road is a minimum of 2. And because there is deep snow, it just makes a minimum road entry 1. So it's not going to... Oh no, there you go. Except along plowed roads, all tracked vehicles pay 1 extra, and all non-tracked vehicles must pay extra 2. So you can imagine how that's going to mess with things, because essentially a truck is paying 4 per hex side, or otherwise per hex. It is not mentioned that the roads are plowed. So yeah, essentially I'm going to have a lot of fun counting values here. Especially since each of these vehicles have different movement point values, and there's some turning that's going to have to take into effect. So, go figure. All right. So with all that said and done, I think it's high time we get to actioning all this. I should mention the Finns have a lovely ELR of 4, I believe, and a sand number of 7, which is insane. I've never played with 7, I don't believe. So yeah, 7 is kind of egregious for being very, 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 very strong, and we're just gonna have to live with it. or the Russians are gonna have to live with it. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and do weather. Now there is no change, and we can do our drifts. So last time we did this, again, you can do a random chit draw, and the chit draw will determine which hex row you put the drift counter on. So there is a an extension for this. There's a chit draw thing that pulls A to GG. So I got a drift in D5. So we put our drift. Where is my lovely, lovely drift counter? Oh, is it in info? There we go. So there's now a counter in D5, but that's not the end of it. So we know the hex row. Now we do a random location DR to determine the hex to where the drift counter will be permanently placed. This is very similar to a sniper check. So 5, 3, so 1, 2, 3, according to our snipers. And we need to face the direction the wind is blowing. So essentially, there is a drift that is now pointing towards the lake in hex G4, which thankfully will not block anything for me, but in terms of the fin side. But you could see how a well-placed defense could immediately be screwed by having a drift, which counts as a wall, and no longer being able to see over obstacles. I don't have anything to do in the rally phase, nor do I have anything to do in the prep fire phase because, well, there's just nothing to really do, period. So we'll just jump straight to movement. And actually, before I go to movement, I'm going to... sorry, I got to step away for one quick second. All right, sorry about that. I had a bit of an emergency there. All right, so like I said, we're in movement phase for turn one. It's all convoy movement, so it's very, very annoying stuff in terms of having to do all the math for it. So like I said, every vehicle so in a convoy, everybody has to move in as a group, which means that you pay the most per hex. And the most, because I have trucks, is 4. And the least movement I have, I believe, is 12. Yeah. So I'm only going to be able to move 3 hexes per turn. So 1, everybody moves 1. And it's a little problematic because I have a tank that thankfully, I have him placed facing the way he is, but I won't be able to make, like, if a unit has to turn, that's basically kind of screws an entire turn of movement. So 2, or I guess I should say 8, and then 12. Now you might say to yourself, Jabo, doesn't that mean to a certain level that if the fins just set up in a way that they are just invisible and never get spotted, could the Russians never get off board? Well, this is 1, 2, well, yeah. It'll be pretty close. Essentially, it makes this sort of play boring, and that's why you don't see scenarios built like this. But despite my criticisms of it, which I'll be fair, I'm probably being a little bit too harsh for it. It is worthwhile to look at these scenarios at the very least and see just how different scenarios were from 1988 than they are from 2024, or at the very least, the mid or 2010s, where a lot of reprints happened with modifications, a lot of new product came out, and just renewed interest more. At least it feels more so than it was before. So the Finns are never going to have anything to really do up until the Russians get in their face. I don't have bore sighting because the Russians did not start off board, and there was no SSR to allow for any such modifiers or changes. So essentially, the all the Finn turns are dead outside of rolling for drift and weather. Because if I don't change the weather, well, a drift will happen regardless. But if no change in wind, then drifts will just continue every turn. So we'll do just like last time. We'll pull a counter. We get T. So let's just clone this. Excuse me. So the drift counter always starts in hex 5, hex row 5, no matter what. So then we roll from there, random selection. It will go up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it will be blowing in the direction of the wind, which is to the bottom right. So essentially nothing happens. We can skip everything because the Finns have no reason to act upon anything. We get to the Russian turn. There's still no change. There's no overcast, so I don't believe there should ever be any falling snow. I believe you need to have falling. Yeah, it has to be accompanied by overcast conditions, and I believe you have to say in the SSRs if it's overcast. And I've looked at this 2 or 3 times, and I do not see it. So we will go for another drift on the Soviet turn, hex row G. It's over in G5. 1-5. Wow, we have another friggin' G10. Okay, cool. So far, nothing to worry about too much. Nothing can happen in the prep fire, or in the rally phase, there's nothing for me to do. Prep fire phase, there's nothing for me to do. We go to movement phase. And in the movement phase, same as always, I have 3 hexes, so this is 4 movement points spent. It's also worthwhile for me to check just to make sure that all of my vehicles are correctly pointing the right way. And it looks like they are so far, outside of this one guy. So that was 4, because again, trucks are paying 1 for road rate, 2 for deep snow, and then 1 for convoy. So, and the maximum I have for some tanks is 12. Now, I'm curious if maybe they spend values differently. So maybe tracked vehicles would only pay. No, you have to pay the maximum, just like platoon. So never mind. This will be their second hex, so that will be 8 movement total. And then their third hex. For 12. And then I'm gonna have to change several. Oh man. Okay, well that's it for turn 2. Again, Finns, they will do weather. They have nothing to do. Hexro FF, which should not come into play whatsoever, but might as well roll it. 5, it's just gonna go off board. Does it do anything if it goes off board? I don't think it does. It might just go to the edge. Yeah, okay, it's just lost. Cool, so it gets deleted. Finns don't do anything, so we will skip their turn to get to turn 3. I also have not been doing log file. I forgot to do a log file last time, and I'm glad I record these, but, you know, doing a log file is also nice. Gameplay. There we go. Okay, back on track here. So turn 3 for the Russians. They will have their weather to check. No change. Now we will do drift. T again. Okay. Well, once lucky, twice shy, whatever the 3-1, which is here. So there's a drift in S5 now. So no big change or big hullabaloo here. Vehicles will have to turn, or some vehicles will have to turn. So I'm going to essentially pay 1 to turn some vehicles that I'm going to need in the near future anyways. So they have spent 1. They will continue for 5 total. So that's 5. And then can he? Yes, he can. Okay, cool. This will be 9 total. And essentially, I might as well have... I'm just going to turn tanks once, basically. But those guys will turn that way. He has to stay that way. You can turn, and you can turn back. That'll be 10. Is there anybody else I need to turn? No. Okay. Exciting stuff. I know. That is it for Soviet turn 3. We go to finish turn 3. We'll just do weather, no change. Chit generator is double C, which again shouldn't really amount to anything, but you never know. C5, 6-3, 1, 2, 3. Nothing happens. Skip their turn. We go to turn 4 for the Soviets. They will roll for weather. We'll get gusts. Ooh, gusts. I think gusts do create extra drifts. Alright, let's see if, let's go look at for gusts and see if that says anything for drift. No, okay. I guess, yeah, okay. No, it's just, if you had gusts, you would create, yeah, okay. Well, basically, it's just going to mean that there's no, there's not going to be any crazy smoke, but, you know, I'm not really placing smoke to begin with, so it doesn't really matter. We will go for our chit generation. Yeah, I haven't done it yet, so chit generation, W. W5, and then 1 2. Okay, or sorry, 1 2. Hope I haven't been doing that wrong. No, I'm pretty sure. No, I've been doing it right. Okay, cool. That is it for rally and prep fire. We'll go back to our movement phase, our lovely movement phase. 4. Everybody should be fine to continue moving. Yes. 8. And then, can this guy? Yes. Can that guy? Yes. Okay, 12. God, can you imagine having to do this by hand? This is why playing vassals sometimes the better option. So that's 12 movement. The Finns can finally see somebody. Although I can only shoot with like 1 unit and it's not even worth it. So we will skip that. We'll go to the usual of weather. No change. Shit is C. Dang, I haven't had like any middle. It's just been one extreme or the other. It kind of feels like 4 6. That will go 1 2 3. Yeah, that's just off board. 1 2 3 5. Yeah, that's off board. Nothing happens. Boo. Okay, well, that was it for rally phase. I got nothing else I want to do, so we'll go to turn 5. Kind of feels like if you were to construct this scenario in a 2000s sense, you would chop off 3 turns and have them just, you know, you just would take out this entire side of the board. So nothing, you know, to the left of you, and automatically just have everybody there. Save time. Weather sees nothing spectacular. Drift is double A. And then 1 2 3 2 3 4 5. All right, more in the water. Movement phase. Okay, movement phase I can only do so much here because I need to turn some units, which is very unfortunate. So I'm going to spend 1 to turn the units that I need to turn. And I have to do this first, otherwise I break the convoy, which I can't do. You can go like this, you can go like that, you can go like that, and you're already like that. Cool. So that is 1. Then 5. Yeah. 5. We'll do 9. Yeah. 9. And then I might as well turn this guy back, that guy back for 11, or sorry, 10. And I can't go anywhere else for 12, so I just have to stay like this. Okay. So yeah, what could you get off board at this point? If you were to continue, this would be, it's easier if I just do this. Okay, turn 5 for the Finns. Let's go back down to 0. Weather, no change. M, there you go. There's a middle type thing. M5. 6 6. God, okay. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Boo. I'm not going to shoot at anything because I want stuff to get closer. I want more targets for the stuff I have. So Russians, no change there. Double A, not going to be good. Double A, 5-4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if I continue my movement phase here, I could get... Well, okay, so yeah, that makes this infinitely worse. So I need to get off on these 4 hexes. But this drift is actually causing me problems now, because if I go vehicle bypass movements, it costs more, or maybe not necessarily more overall, but it is a bog and costs more to drive over, which is really annoying. And if you had 2 or 3 of them in the roads, you could probably just win by default. Again, not particularly well thought out as a scenario, and not. I don't want to say that in a malicious way. I just think that there could have been more thought behind it, more trimming down of the faff here, because this is a bit much. But regardless, I will spend 4 to move 1 hex. I can't continue the convoy without turning, so I have to, as the Soviets or Russians, I have to turn once. That's 5. And then I will spend more to do 1 more hex to get to 9. I might as well turn for 10, because I can't get another hex. And then they will all stop, essentially. They'll have to delay or whatever. They can't do any more. So they're just paying their total to stay in motion, whatever. And this is where I will, as they spend their final point, I will reveal a unit with a mortar, and I'm going to essentially reveal everybody that was still moving from that one guy. Now he regains concealment, but everybody here does see him, and that should trigger the end of convoy movement. But they spent all their movement points, so they can't do anything anymore, because they spent their whole allotment. I guess technically the trucks could potentially do something. It's an interesting question, actually. If they've paid 12, it costs half their movement. Yeah, I didn't load this properly. I probably should have put... It's starting to make me think that... oh, wait, I don't have anybody with great movement. All right, never mind. Nobody could have unloaded anyways. So, with that interesting fact in the air, let's get wild here. So I'm gonna have the mortar in G5 shoot at the truck in J3. It's an area target type, and there shouldn't be any intervening effect on anything really. So it should be a hit. IFT is nothing, so nothing to worry about for that just yet. Didn't get rate of fire, which is unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Now it's kind of a really hard choice as to what targets I want to pick off with what. I guess technically I do have to reveal these. It wouldn't have really mattered, and I can just delete these because that's not going to matter either. Okay, well, this guy's fired. Let's get, I'm going to get the anti-tank gun to shoot first here. So, I have an anti-tank gun in here. We'll just unhip it, but it's a good 37L. It's going to shoot at the tank in G4. Yeah, there's no way it's missing that. Even though the tank is in motion, it's still a +2 for moving, -1 for size, and that's about it, really. 2 kill. 9 is not great. I do have rate of fire on the AT gun, which is the most important thing here. Now, 2 kill on a 37L is a 9. Do I have to... No, it's just a 37L. Do I have any modifiers here? Black to hit numbers, which is not going to matter. All right, cool. So yeah, so it's a 9. 37, it gets a +1 for distance because it's adjacent. Armor is 3 on that, so it's not going to matter. I will not penetrate it, though, again, as mentioned, I do have rate of fire. So I will maintain that. And I will shoot a second time. I will get 2 hits because of the factors involving multiple hits. I can also flip this because that's my second shot. I'm just going to remove the concealment. I get 2 kills, 2 kill rolls. The first is a 6, and then the second is a 2. It's not a critical, but there's only 3 armor. It'll bring it up to a 5. I needed a 10 or less, and because it's half, that will burn that tank. Now, that's not necessarily the best result possible, because burning it... oh, do I have a choice, or do I have to pick the lowest number? That is actually a very important question. Because if I take the 2, I will unfortunately cause blaze, which will then spread a lot of smoke, which is just going to make it very hard to see targets behind. So the question is, do I have to choose the lowest one, or do I pick one? As achieved with the results, the fire is entitled to 2 die rolls on the applicable effects, but only uses 1 firer's choice. Okay, yeah, so I will pick. I had one that was 6. It would go up to a 9. I needed a 10. It would blow it up, but not turn it into a burning wreck, which is again very, very important here. I do have rate of fire, so I will then turn my wrath against. We'll do the middle truck. So 2 hit. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna matter. I don't think there's any unarmored target. Final 2 kill is double the critical. If it's a 37, it's an 8. So 16, that's a 6. There's no modifier. That is a burning wreck. Which also means that everything in there dies. So there goes these guys, which I was kind of hoping to use. But okay. Not sure the Russians are going to win this one. I do have rate of fire, so I will now turn to the truck in H4. That is... Oh, sorry. I had to do sniper. Sniper activates. A sniper is a 1-2. I have to pick the mortar guys, which is very unfortunate, because if I could have picked the AT gun, I would have. That would have been really nice. Damn. Okay. Well. So I had the AT gun shoot again. I can hit H4. That will be a hit because it's black to hit numbers. There's a +1 for hindrance, and that's it really. There is now also there is smoke 2 hexes because of heavy winds and drift. So same procedure with the 2 kill. That is a hit, and that will equal. What's the range on that? That's a plus. What's a +1? That is 1 under the 2 kill, which will eliminate it. Now there is a crew survival chance. Small crew survival, I believe, is just the passengers. I believe crew survival. Yeah, okay. So the passengers and riders can all potentially escape on a 7 or less. So top guy with the LMG, he gets out. does not and gets out. I don't know what... I think they die if they don't. Yeah, I think they just die if they don't. Is there... what's the crew survival playing aid table say? We'll put them to the side for now. And these two guys, I believe, get marked pinned and are essentially jumped out. So this gets cloned. Flip this over. Multiple hits. That's not the table. Why is it showing me multiple hits table? I'm looking for crew survival. Why is that a jit? Okay. Oh, that's not what I'm looking... Why would you... Interesting that it would not show me a different, more informative, picture or whatever. Alright, well, whatever. So, yeah, those guys, I believe they get out and they're... I want to say they're pinned. Crew firepower, blah, blah, blah. If they have support weapons, they're eliminated. Oh, it's hazardous movement. Gotcha. Which makes way more sense than what I was thinking. Now, if I could find hazardous movement, that'd be great. But I don't think I have it anywhere. So we gotta do it the hard way here. Hazardous movements. Now, I do have a acquisition on that X now. Or that, yeah. And I will track it to one of the infantry. But what do is there anything specific I want to do here? That I'm not quite sure. I don't think I want to keep shooting at anybody. I could try my hand at the blaze, but there's now a +5, +6. Yeah, that's not worth it. I'll just consider them shot for all intents and purposes. I do have a unit in I5. But I think I'm going to try my units in the pillbox over here. So this unit in the pillbox is going to reveal itself. Leader's a 10-1. They have a heavy machine gun and a half squad that's manning it. So the heavy machine gun is going to shoot at the guys that are now hazardous movementing. It'll be a 14 down 3. 4 on 14 is bad. K3. Okay. So random selection. Top guy takes the K. And 3 morale check on a 1 ELR. Yeah, they both bust. They will both ELR. And they trigger a sniper, which does activate. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think it has to target these guys in the truck. Sniper. What's it do to trucks? Eliminates dummy stack, wounds, single man counter. Oh, why is it written that way? Why is it not written in a smarter way? I gotta check the other rulebook I have. 20. Where's sniper? 14. Okay, so it pins the an armored vehicle and its PRC cannot be attacked by the same sniper DR. Sniper attack versus an unarmored vehicle itself can only immobilize it, and only if it's Wait, so... Hold up. Yeah, okay. I think it just... Well, yeah. So it pins... It pins them. It doesn't really do anything, essentially. It would force them to button up, and they can't move anymore, I guess. But they already can't, so yeah, nothing happens. Well, you know what? I will take off their concealment, because I think that would happen. Now, that 14 firepower was just with a 4, so no rate of fire. It doesn't really matter, because those guys are kind of busted anyways. What else can I do here? I got 2 other shots. Potentially 3. Oh, actually, this guy can't see him because they're on the road. Yeah, they can't be... They're not spotted no matter what. Alright, so that's the end of movement phase. Defense fire, you know what? I will take the 12... I don't know. I'm going to say they're not still hazardous movement if they're broken. So it's just 12 up 1 because there is the truck there. Which I'm going to count for T... Actually, you know what? I don't think that counts for TM. It might just be hindrance. Or actually, I forget. I'll add the 1. Why not? 6 on 12, 2 morale check. Yeah, reduced and reduced. Or eliminated and reduced. Which I don't think it's really going to matter because they're probably dead anyways. But nonetheless, that is it for defensive. I got no advancing. Routes. This guy has to route. He can't go anywhere. Technically, he would become a prisoner. But I will declare no quarter. Because I don't really care for prisoners. I would rather eliminate units and then not have to worry about them later on. But also I will check, is no quarter specifically? It doesn't say. Oh, yeah, never mind. I almost missed that. Cool. Advanced phase, nothing can happen. Because everybody's still mounted. And I don't have to route this guy because he's, the Russian guy expired, so to speak. So I don't need to do anything else there. Yeah. So that just ends, and we go to, are we on turn 6? Man, I missed, oh well, whatever. That's not the end of the world. Finns get a reinforcement, which I should have brought on last turn, but I forgot. As you can see, it's very consequential that they get 2 838s, a 9-1, and skis, which it's already a lot. So I don't know why they get all this. And the 5, they come in concealed, but it's probably just so that, I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, that's not necessary. They're just going to come in on the right. And bolster some defenses. So we'll go to weather. We have no change whatsoever. We will go to our chit draw. Chit generator is a G. So G5 again. No, that's G4. G5. Cool. 5-1. Damn. You know what? The amount of movement that's going to cost is not a problem for the Finns, so I don't care. Reinforcements get put in their appropriate spot. I need to do a rally, so I will attempt to rally, and I will not get it. Mortar is not going to come back for now, anyways. Yeah, and then I don't have any prep fire to do. I mean, I could, I guess. Might as well. So that's a 7. It would be up 1, I believe, from hindrance. And then up. So 4 up 3. On 7. No. Alright, cool. Doesn't matter. I don't have any other shots I care to do. Movement phase. Everybody that's off board is just going to come on board. And then So they're going to follow the road because there's no reason not to. It is deep snow, though, so I guess it's one. This is 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6. I'll just get into the building afterwards because I don't need to go anywhere else. Defensive fire phase, none that I care to do, to be honest. No advanced fire phase, no routes to do. Advances? Don't care for that either. I mean, I guess I could bring... What's the map look like here? Yeah, like, I could just bring these guys back. I don't have any reason to go back into those hexes either, because skulking is dumb. But yeah, I have no reason to really go back into them. So we go to turn 7. Yeah, so these would all be there. Yeah, so turn 7. Weather, no change. Chit draw. V. Interesting, interesting. V5 and 3-1. Cool. Rally phase, none. Or I guess technically the Finns do get one. Won't be enough, unfortunately. Prep fire phase, none. Movement phase. Now nobody's beholden to convoy anymore because the convoy is broken. So, with that in mind, this truck is going to drop everybody off. They'll stop. I guess they'll stop for one because everybody's still moving. So they will stop for one, and then they will drop everybody. I don't know if I have shots right now. No, I'm just gonna wait. I don't think there's a reason I need to really force that. So stop for one brings it to, so it's 1 movement point. It's half, I believe. I'm gonna double check because I keep saying half, and I'm pretty sure it's not a quarter to dismount. I'm gonna feel silly if or it's unloading. I always forget that. Unloading. Oh, it's just a quarter? Why am I thinking half? Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking half. I am just being silly. Maybe I saw something else that... Well, whatever. So that would be 4, so it brings it to 5. And these guys will have been considered to have spent 2 movement factors. Now, do I want to do anything with this truck? I could start them for 6. And then that's 3 plus 1 for vehicle for 4 plus 1 for smoke 5. So that's 11. And then getting in here would be 3 plus... Okay, yeah, I can get there with in motion. I don't know if I really want to threaten that with a shot. It's just a truck. It's not going to do anything to me. I forgot to put these guys in advance. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave them there. These guys have 2 movement factors left. So I think the smart play here is going to be... I don't think anybody else can see him, so they will all assault move to J4. We're just going to J4. Nobody has a really good shot on them, because this smoke, that's plus... that's 3 to... Yeah, he can't see him. I don't think these guys could see him. This guy can't see him, so yeah, he's kind of just... He's quote-unquote safe there. We'll just have to wait and see, really. This tank is still, so everybody else is in motion. So that's 2, 5. Go to H3 for 2 plus smoke. So 8 total. And then I don't want him to keep going, so this AT gun is going to shoot at him. So the AT gun would have seen him in the Blaze Hex, and then would see him in this, so will have essentially seen the tank for more than 3 movement points. So movement points is not going to be a factor here. There is a +1 for the tank, and then +2 for smoke. So that's a +3 automatically. And there is a there's a +2 for movement. So it's +5. It's at 11. And range. No, because that's point blank range is he's moving. He's moving, so there's no range bonus. Is there any other bonus? I don't believe so. And I don't have rate of fire. So they will have been considered to have shot. That guy gets away scot-free, we'll say. And then we'll continue to G3. He's not doing any overrun or anything. And that will cost him 2. Do I try shenanigans? You know what? I might as well, because those guys can't see anything. So I'm going to try and CC reaction fire here. I believe they're immune from the CC reaction fire, or the any CC roll. They don't get pinned, is what I'm trying to say, from being in the same hex as a tank, I don't believe. So they kind of get... They're kind of free to do what they want here. And CC reaction fire, I believe, because they're in their own hex, they should be allowed to do all the magnetic mine stuff. CC reaction fire. D7.2. Movement phase by the defender who uses it to attack in allowed location. 2-type CC reaction fire, which is resolved on the CCT. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to do CC reaction fire because there's no reason not to do it. Same hex, all that sort of stuff. I don't get any sort of 2-kill bonus or anything. I do have mines, which I don't know if I have to roll a dice for, actually. What's the rule reference it gives? It gives C13.7. Let's see what C13.7 says. Anti-tank mines. Oh, I had to do check. Okay, well, I'll do a check because there's no reason not to. 3. I do have it. Okay. So mine, an anti-tank magnetic mine is a -3 to the die roll. Okay, so we got a lot of factors here. I don't think I'm going to succeed, but it's important to calculate all this. So if we look at the close combat table, it's a motion vehicle, so there's a +2. It has no machine gun. There's a -1, so we're at a +1, a net +1 so far. I got him with the anti-tank mine, which is -3, so we're at a net -2. The CC value of a squad is 5. I would essentially have a 7 versus 5, which won't succeed. These guys will be considered first fired, I believe. And the tank gets to go along its merry way, which it will go to F3 for 12 and be in motion. Okay. Well, it's not bad so far for the Finns anyways. I really don't think I have much longevity with the Russians anymore, considering all the losses I incurred, but we'll see, I guess. Next truck will stop and drop units. So it stops for 1 and then pays a quarter, so 6. So it's paid 7. And then we'll do 3. I guess technically I could bring them. So here for 3, 6, stop for 7, drop them for 13, start for 14, pay 5, I believe it is to get into there. And then I can't go anywhere else. So I'm just in motion in this flame or blaze hex. Yeah. The blaze also, for those curious, can't spread. I would need to roll gusts again for it to spread, and I don't think that's really going to happen. These guys in J3, I've only spent half of their movement factors. One guy's kind of stuck where he is, but the other guy will... he starts in the road, that's true. He's going to have to wait till the end of the turn, unless I just move him into... Yeah, he'll just be there. Next truck is going to spend 6, stop for 7, pays a quarter, which is 4, so it gets himself to 11, drops everybody, starts for 1 to 12, and then goes there for 15 in motion. At this rate, I'm kind of just hoping that I can get these trucks to kind of just mosey off board and not care as the finish player, but I don't know if that's even possible. I'm pretty sure I had 2 moving factors left over. Well, leader might be 3 with the leader. So I will go into K4. Might as well have the guys spread out a little bit. Truck and contents will move 3, 6, 9. We'll stop for 10. Unload for 16. Starts for 1. So 17. And I'm just going to spend all his movement and keep him in motion. And then the last tank here is just going to go... What is this? 2, 4, 6... 10, and then 10 in motion. I can't do anything more than that. Cool. Defensive fire phase. In the defensive fire phase, I mean, I guess I'll shoot the machine gun against the guys in J3. I can't imagine it's anything. It's -1 plus 1 for hindrance, plus 3, so it's +2 on 7. That's 9 on 7. Can't imagine that's anything. Yeah, it's a pin test check. Okay, well, take a pin test check against 2 units. First guy, bottom guy. Guy with the mortar pins, which is silly. And I potentially trigger a sniper? No. At the very least, that was not the case. I don't have rates, so we'll just leave it at that. ATR in H5 is going to try and pop the truck. That is a hit because there's only... So it's +1 for hindrance, +2 for smoke, +2 for movement, 5. Yeah, it's 10. That's a hit regardless. ATR is a 7 or less. Yep. All right. Well, that will turn it into a burning wreck as well. So it just means there's 2 burning wrecks in the same location. Okay, well, not really going the way I want it to be honest. I don't really know if there's anything I should expect, though. This technically... No, it just stay there. Yeah, okay. Advanced Fire Phase, I don't think I have any. Yeah, I don't think I have any. So we'll go to Route Phase, which I don't think there's anything to route. No, I got one broken guy. I don't think anybody got to H4, and definitely not into G4, so he didn't get DM'd. Advances. Let's be really aggressive with those guys. That guy with the mortar can't move. He can go there. If I follow the road, he can go there. This guy can just go somewhere. Let's have him go down. Yeah, it's really a question of, am I going to be able to even score 15 CVP? I don't know. I definitely am not getting off board. That I think is a for sure reality. Okay, well, let's do this P. That's not helpful. P5, 1-1. Yeah, nothing happens. Which, you know, at this rate, kind of expected. Yeah, I think kind of expected here. So, rally phase, there's only really one guy to try. He gets it because fins. Alright, well, that's rally phase. Prep fire. In the prep fire phase, I will try a... It's doubled, so 14 up 1. Okay. He can see that way. Squad with the LMG is going to shoot at I3 for 18 up 1. Wow. Okay, well, disparity of rolls here. 4 on 18. K4. Yeah, he's hosed. I don't think that was ever not going to happen. I didn't get rate of fire, which doesn't matter. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. What am I looking at here? Yeah, they can shoot. Mortar's gonna shoot into I5. Definitely a hit. Rate of fire 6. Does it say? I forget if he gets. I forget if they get. God, what's the air burst? They might get air burst. Where air burst? Air burst. Air burst. All direct fire. All indirect fire. Okay, so it really is if you don't have, if it says you don't have it, then you don't have it. But otherwise, all of it. Okay, so there's the -1 to the effect die. Which means that's a 6 on 2, I believe. 50 is 6 on 3, which is a Pentash check. Wouldn't have changed either way. So Pentash check for Kamsar, 1, 2, 3. So one guy, the guy with the LMG is pinned. We'll just send him to the bottom. Like I said, I had rate of fire. I will shoot a second time. Same result, except I do not have rate. 8 on 3 is not going to do anything. And I think I'm going to follow it up with the HMG. I don't really want to. I'd rather shoot at other targets. But also, in fairness, the smoke and drift is just absolutely brutal. So I don't think it's going to matter. So we'll do 7 flat. 7 on 7 is a normal morale check. So Commissar, he's fine. Squad, breaks, and ELR. Break, no, wait, pin. No, sorry. Because of the Commissars, increase morale by 1. Right? I'm not going crazy on that one. Russians, Commissars. Yeah, unpin a broken car, increase morale level of all parties. Yeah, okay. So one guy breaks, the top guy breaks, the middle guy is pinned. Because it's just a normal morale check. And then the guy that's already pinned is fine. The IFT was a 7. I did not get anything for rate of fire, so nothing will continue there. I did roll 1 Axis SAM. Didn't activate, so it's fine. I think that's probably the only miserable thing so far, is the Finns have not really activated their sniper at all. Which, considering the odds and everything, is fine. But it is kind of neat. Is this worth it? You know what? With all the blazes, yeah, he has to... I'm going to have this AT gun shoot at the tank. No. But I didn't blow it up. And it's fine if he wants to be there. What else we got here? Yeah, I think this drift really is gonna cause a lot of problems, so I don't really care all that much. Is there anything else to shoot in prep fire? I don't think so. Movement phase, I'm gonna have the guy in the foxhole jump out as an assault move, and that's it. He's just gonna do that. Do I want to shoot at him? Kind of. Maybe I'll shoot at him. That would be... No, that is a +6. I can't shoot at him. Nobody can really shoot at him. Leader and everybody are just going to assault move to the better building. And that is going to be it. Defensive fire phase. I mean, I might as well try I5. So it is... what do I got? I got 10 firepower. Doubled to 20. Halved to 10. That's it. So 10 up 1. 8 on 10 is a normal morale check against the 648. He's fine. The Russians trigger the Finnish sniper in the worst way possible. 5-1. This guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, they're so lucky. Okay, that breaks one guy in the middle of nowhere. The squad is fine. I don't think I have any other defensive fire. I mean, the mortar doesn't have line of sight really on anything. Yeah, I don't think I do. Honestly, I think I might just call it at the end of this one. Getting to turn 8, I don't think there's anything else I can really do. I guess we'll see if there's anything crazy I can do. Advanced fire phase, none. Routes is going to be interesting. So in the route phase, I've got this guy is just going to go down, because he can go down. This guy has to go this way. And I might as well continue. No, I can't go that way. Yeah, I might as well continue here. Stacked with the Commissar is going to he's going to pull back and go all the way to K4, because that makes the most sense. And hopefully I can rally. But I don't think it's going to be successful because Commissars. I guess technically I could have sent J1 this way. Is he getting closer? Can he see this guy? If he sees this guy, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, he has to go this way. That's just a broken ATR. Don't care. Yeah. So that's route phase. Advanced phase, I mean... I could be kind of silly. I think we'll do this. I could be kind of silly and essentially throw a squad against these two pin guys, but you know, even still, it's like I could just pull back and not have to worry about it at all. So I'll just do it that way. Yeah, that's it. I don't think there's anything else. CC phase, there is one CC to do. And I'm gonna have the 838s go first. They aren't marked as assault engineers, but that's fine. They're gonna try for mines, they will get it. That is starting things off very strong here. So the single main counter, the leader is going to attempt to help. That's going to provide a +1 to their value, which is a 5, which brings it to a 6. So we'll just roll the CC. Okay, I would have gotten it even without the mines, I believe. So we'll do the math. I rolled a 5. That gets increased by 2 for being for the vehicle being in motion, so it's a 7. There's no machine guns on the vehicle, so it goes down by 1, so it's now a 6. The AT mines brings that down to a 3. And the leader is also providing a bonus, his -1, which brings it down to a 2. And that is half or less than it's half or less, and it should turn it into a burning wreck, I believe. So we'll clone this, flip it, and turn that into a burning wreck. And the other unit just doesn't get to do anything, essentially. It was there for moral support only. Blaze. Perfect. We go to turn 8. We'll take off our pins. Do weather. It's not changing enough. Alright, well, let's see what our snowdrift situation is like. Snowdrift C, that's a bad omen. C5. 1, 2. Okay, not so bad. So weather's done. Rallies. I will try the self-rally first. Didn't get it. Kind of expected. And then 2 units. We'll do the 7 morale guy first. No, and no. Oh, wait. This guy is increased by 1. This guy will make it. But the other guy does not. So he becomes conscript. And damn comes off. So the question becomes, how much damage could I potentially do to the fins? I'm going to try and repair... No, okay. Well, I didn't need the ATR anyways. It's the first loss by the fins. So I'm not going to be able to get off board. There's no way. There's not enough movement. I would have to CX, which is silly. I have to go through so much smoke, which is also silly. There's just no way. The question is could I somehow get 15 CVP? And if we do the math, 15 CVP, so that's 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19. So I have to kill everybody except 2 squads. And that's not possible. I think it's fair to say that it's not possible. There's not enough movement. There's too much smoke. The Russians have to overcome distance, and I can't shoot, essentially. So, like, for example, I could shoot with these guys in I-5. Right, so let's try to game out at least initial actions here. So in the prep fire phase, I still can't really do anything with this mortar. I could attempt to do something with this mortar, but that's a +4 now, because I think blazes are cumulative. I should check that, but Is smoke cumulative? I want to say it is. Blaze. Cumulative. Why does it always do that? Alright, maybe if I go on my online resource, it's going to be a little bit more helpful. And maybe, you know what, I'll check smoke. I'll check smoke first. A24. Yeah, so it's each smoke counter. And there's no limit to the number of smoke counters which can be placed in a hex, but the total hindrance for any one location can never be more than +3. Okay, so essentially there's an automatic +3 in I4. There's a +1, so it's a +4 shot. I would need to roll 3 or snake eyes for an effect. Didn't get it. I do have rate, technically. Didn't get it. Nope. I will get a hit that won't affect the people inside the pillbox. But there is a... Alright, so there's a... That's a plus... I'm not sure if that's a +2 overall or what for... Well, we'll assume it's a -1, because again, indirect fire mortar, so it's a 5 on 3, which is a normal morale check. So squad, okay, and alright, well, that's not a good sign, especially when that has happened to me far too often. Both these guys break. Doesn't eliminate the bunker, which is the important part. I do have rate, so I will shoot again. Another hit. Nothing. Hit. 2. That's still, like I said, I believe that's still oh, you know, it'd be, yeah, it's direct fire, it's indirect fire, so it's +5, which means it'd be a +4, I think, because I'm still not sure if airburst affects pillboxes. Is there anything that says airburst and pillbox? Entrenchments? Where does it say airburst here? Hey, why is that 2? Do they make it 2 words? Okay. A foxhole TM is not cumulative with that of other positive TM in the same X, but it's a combination of... Okay. Yeah, I'm not looking for foxhole, but I think the gist is that it both do apply. So that means that would be a 6 on 3, which is a pintash check. So pintash check on the leader. He's fine, and the crew is fine, or half squad. So I'll shoot again. Still have rate. Nope. Rate. Nope. Rate. Pintash check. We'll do sniper first. Sniper. Oh, of course. Okay, we'll do the effect first. So that's pintash checks. Yeah. I need a critical, but if I can keep rolling super well, which that sucks. Okay, this was a 1, so random selection, leader, squad. I have 1 broken one, and that's it. So 1 guy breaks. Cool. Rates. Hit. No, wait. I don't believe that's a hit. Have I been screwing up hits here? I would have a -2. A -2 with a... Well, yeah, no. It wouldn't matter if... Yeah. I might have been adding some IFT shots. Well, whatever. It's still a... So that's +3, +4. Yeah, like I said, I would need... Well, now I would need 5. Because I have a -2. So that's a miss. I probably missed a couple, so... yeah, okay. I'm going to assume that is the end of it. Okay, well, I broke 2 guys, which is nice, and I did get see, I got 1 point for the Russians. Let's mark that down. I got 1 point for the Russians. Um, okay, so that was prep fire from that guy, right? Cool. Cool. Now, this machine gun's not going to do anything because it's not. It's just that's relying on way too much because it's not a 2-hit. It's not separate. So I got 2 squads here, and I could potentially do damage. That should be there. I could potentially do damage by shooting, or I advance. But they're gonna be able to shoot because that's the covered arc. Fuck. I will take the chance and shoot 10 up 4. No, damn. That I think is going to be game because I don't know how to get beyond there. Everybody else has to move. So it just plays into the finish, opportunity where like, okay, well, they can just pick and choose what they want to do. I can turn this gun back towards where all the other vehicles are. Like if I go to movement phase, okay, this 8-0 and these guys will go 2, 4, 6, and this is the only gamble I have left because if I can make it into this pillbox or kill the pillbox, that'll help. I'm just trying to think, is there anybody that could shoot in between? Technically this guy with the LMG. That's a 9 up 3. 9 up 3. Yeah. Okay. Nothing happens from this guy. So the guys get into H5. Then the heavy machine gun shoots at them. That is going to be a 14 down 1. 5 on 14. 3 morale check. Okay. I need heroes. Well, I lost 1 to an ELR. The other guy might actually turn into heroes. Shit. It's Russians. Russians are +2. 9. Berserk. That does not help. Okay, so these guys go Berserk, which is not good. What's the code again? R. They go Berserk, which now means that they have the extra movement points to try and get into the hex, which they need to do. And G5 is just going to shoot at them again. Did I have rate of fire? I did. I didn't cower. So now that they're in the hex, that's a triple point blank fire. So that's 21 down 1. You've got to be kidding me. Every time. Always happens. 3 on 21 is a 1 KIA exact. That always happens. Now I still have rate, so he's not gonna get marked. But that I think is that's the end. This guy with the medium, I want to move into these woods, for example. So, I can't even assault move because it takes all his moves. So he normal moves. This guy will shoot at him for 9 flat. Alright, never mind. Don't matter. 3K3. Yeah, that's it. Even if, like, there's the part of me, as soon as I did it, was like, you know what, I should have waited for advance. But even if I wait for advance, I don't think the result is any different. Because if I advance, the Finns just get the shot next turn, and it's going to be at full firepower right in half. So yeah, I don't think there's any way for the Finns to lose this one. Because again, they would have to lose everybody except 2 squads, which I don't think is possible. So anyways, yeah, kind of a bummer ending, but I think, like I said, I think this is a very useful way to look at scenario design from almost 40 years ago. This scenario is 34 years old at this point, which is almost as old as I am, which is kind of wild. So yeah, like, or sorry, I have my math wrong. It is older than I am. I don't know why I was saying otherwise. Because it is 36. No, why am I? Whatever. Anyways, it's older than I am. That's the point. I'm frazzled clearly from too much gaming, too much looking at maps and stuff. But ultimately, it's neat to go back to these old scenarios and see how design existed back in the day. I've said it before, but I think it bears repeating that old scenarios really gave you too much time and muddled the amount of time you would be spending doing useless things. And it's a very harsh critique. At least I feel like it's a very harsh critique, but I think it's fair given the circumstances. There's no reason for a scenario like this to essentially force the Russian to only move for 4, 5, maybe even 6 turns with no action on the Finnish side. Like, they don't have to do anything, period. 6 turns of not doing anything except shuffling counters on a board, which is very, in its own way, it's very boring because there's no action, there's no dice rolls that are being done from one side to affect another, outside of drifts. The drifts is an interesting mechanic. I will always appreciate drifts, even if they would be negative for me. But I do think that because roads aren't plowed, because there's so much movement, because drifts exist, if these two drifts had existed, if these were the first two drifts in sequential order, so left and right, if these two had happened first, that would probably be game in and of itself, because a drift adds movement factor costs to your movement, but in a way that you cannot circumvent when it comes to vehicles, because vehicles, um, it's always going to affect the vehicles unless the wind changes direction, which, for as much as I hope for those things to always happen, it's never really done so. Um, a drift hex side requires all of a unit's movement factors, movement points to cross, and also requires a vehicle to take a bog check. So basically, in convoy movement, you would have one unit get over the drift, and then that's it. You're done. You can't. You can technically. I'm not sure if a convoy is allowed to leave a road if it's on a road. There might be something for it, but ultimately, you have to spend all of your movement factors to get over it, which means you can only move one vehicle over, but you're stuck as a convoy. That's very silly. So you would kill a scenario just by having drift happen in a road hex. And if you're going to say, well, the drift can't occur in a road hex, then why have the drifts? Because that's the only thing that's reasonably going to affect. Anyways, I think this is all to really say that, design, interesting. It's always important to look at it. And while I like the concept of this scenario, I think you could punch it up a lot by doing other things. And I think they have been done before, or done since, I should say. I think that there's a reasonable way to have a scenario like this that shows off the actions of the Motti attacks, where you could just have a Russian player set up a convoy, not have them look at the Finnish side of deployment. The Russians set up their deployment, the Finns set up their deployment in secret, and you just start combat on turn one, where the vehicles don't need to spend movement points. They're just considered to have stopped. Maybe put a burnt wreck as the first counter in a stack, or maybe like, the convoy is started and ended by a burning wreck. That way you still get the action of the stopping a convoy and that sort of thing, and then you jump into the actual fun parts, not the I'm gonna move things for 20 minutes plus. So, anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this deep dive into a very old scenario. Should be back with Rudin on Saturday. He wasn't available because of Thanksgiving and all that stuff. So hopefully he will be back and we'll get to play some more Finnish versus Russians. So until then, have a lovely week. Bye.